Here we are at the solar shed. We're going to change this today from 4 in series, 3 in parallel, to 3 in series, 4 in parallel. I'm going to put the 3 panels on the sides together, 2 panels from the back over here, combined with this one in the far corner over there, and then 3 panels on the top. This should provide us with more power because of more consistent lighting and less shading to each of the series. So let's get started. We're going to start off by disconnecting what we've got up here. We're going to use this panel, and the one over in this front one over here. Then we're going to put that one with the 2 in the back, and these 3 on this side, and those 3 on that side. That's how we plan on doing this today. So first I'm going to take everything apart. Hopefully I can speed through a lot of this for you guys. So the wires are behind this panel. So this one's going to have to come off. All right, so we have 2 sets done. 1, 2, 3, first series. 1, 2, 3, second series. Now I picked the one in that back corner because it gets the earliest and the latest sunlight. This one over here is going to be set with these back 2. So next are the back 2. Okay, look at that. That's great. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then 7, 8, and 9. And this is the last set over here. And that is the wiring. So it's very simple. We have 3 on the roof. 1, 2, 3. This corner, and the 2 on the far side. We have 3 on this side. 1, 2, and 3. We have 3 with the combination, which is probably the worst pair. That one up there, and these 2 here. Although this gets a lot of sunlight. Oh, let me do that again. We have a combination pair with that one up there and these 2 here. This gets a lot of sun in the winter. and that gets pretty decent sunlight during the day. So my guess is these are three seem like they might be the worst matched, but they probably will end up being best. And then last is on this side, we have these 3 panels. 1, 2, 3. It's 3 in series, 4 in parallel. This ought to be better than the 4 in series and 3 in parallel that we had before. But there's only one way to really know. Is the voltage high enough to charge a 48-volt battery? That was the problem with 2 in series. Originally I did 2 here, 2 here, 2 there, 2 on the other side, and 2 there. And I had to add these panels here on both sides in order to get enough to get an even dozen panels to make it work the other way around. So now we're going to find out if 3 in series works even better because of shading issues and because of light hitting things at just the right time of day. I suspect this will probably get a better performance, but we're going to find out. All right, here we are back in the solar shed. I got kind of a mess out here. So what I want to do is I want to check which of these lines go to what. And we should be able to get around 100 volts on all, and this is the part that's important, all 4 strings. All 4 strings need to have about the same voltage in order for shade not to affect you too much. The wattage will drop, but the shade shouldn't drop the voltage. That's what's really important about series and parallel. When they're in series, you can have one panel get shaded, have other series in parallel with it, as long as the voltage doesn't drop too much. Now, in our case, we're in Florida. We have enough light that these panels are going to hit voltage at 7 in the morning, and they're going to stay there until the sun goes down at 8 o'clock at night. So that's not going to be an issue. What I need to make sure is that I have around the same voltage for each one. So here we go. I'm going to put this on a negative post up here, and we're going to test each one. That one's 99.2. That one is 98.2. That one is 97.8. And that one is 100.3. So they're all around the same voltage, even with it fairly shady outside and it raining today. This is the part that's really important for people to understand. So now, let's turn these on. Now I should be able to look at the entire series. I still got the main breaker off, and do a voltage check here and see what we're going to have as a combination voltage, which is going to be right at 98.7. So any of those panels that are over 98.7 will be brought down to 98.7. So that means we have 1, the 97, that's brought up to 98. And we have 2, the 99 and the 100 brought down to 98. They'll all run at whatever voltage you can pull from them at the maximum power point. All right, here we are with the statistics on what happened with the solar shed when we switched from 4 in series, 3 in parallel to 3 in series and 4 in parallel. And to be honest with you, I'm a little bit surprised with the results. I was expecting them to be better than they are, but they did turn out some results. They're just not exactly what I was expecting. So here's what I have done. You've got to keep in mind here that this section in the middle is where my 6000 XP was acting up and had gone out, and it was repaired under warranty and is back on here. So what I'm going to look at is these 2 days here and compare them to these 3 days over here, so that we have a baseline to compare the RV input to the shed input and see what percentages they came in. Now, you would see that prior to the switchover at the 4S, we were getting 19.6% of the power on this day and 23.1% of the power on this day. And it seemed as these power went up, this percentage went up a little bit also. Now, the 3 days that we have, the last 3 days, today, yesterday, and the day before, have been very, very consistent. I mean, it's almost scary how consistent today and yesterday was with their percentages. But all 3 days turned out exactly 21.8%. And that is probably the moral of the story here, is that what it did the most of is it brought consistency to the daily stats. Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. So this is the chart of the 18th and the 19th. And as you can see here, we have this up and down kind of stroke as the sun goes out, and it comes in the morning, comes up over the buildings, and then there's a dip in the afternoon, and then there is it goes back down at the end of the day, and there's a real high here when it comes up over the building and hits those 4 panels on that back side, because those 4 panels are in series. But if you look at the current statistics, it is a much more level out at the end of the day, and it stays high all the way to the very end, and it starts high also. Now there is this little bit of a shuffle here in the afternoon. Now my suspicion is this piece right here, this low piece, when winter comes, this is actually going to go up and level out. And this little section here might come down a little bit, because this is the actual sun's position, not hitting those back 2 panels of that 3-panel series, the 2 on the back and the 1 on the roof. So I bet this low right here is what we'll see come out in the winter. The overall answer here is that consistency is exactly what this brought, but it didn't change the output a whole lot. It looks like it's right at 6.75 kilowatt hours a day of generation of energy, and it was all previously right at 7 kilowatt hours. So there is a little bit of a loss if we look at these 3 days here where it was producing, but it is also hard to say. The days have been extremely hot and harsh the last few days, and sometimes that has an impact on energy also. So that is the sum of what's going on. It wasn't really the results we were looking for, but as you can see, it did bring consistency. We'll see you on the next video, and thanks for watching.